Welcome back for this week's Human Design Transit Report. And today is Monday, February 27th, 2022, and the new transit starts on Thursday, March 2nd. And that's what we're going to talk about mostly today is the new transit. If you want to know about what's happening today through Wednesday, you can go and watch last week's transit report and it'll tell you what's happening right now. I always like to talk about the transits ahead of time so that you can prepare for what's coming. And if you're new to the transits, I would suggest that you watch the transit reports, Essentials You Need to Know. It's right here, and it's in the playlist with all of the transit reports for this year and for last year too, because it'll just help you understand how to actually utilize the power of the transits and how to relate them to your own chart. So I suggest that you check that out. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. So on Thursday, the sun is going to move into the gate 63, which is the beginning of the logic circuit or the pattern circuit, and into the 64, which is the beginning of the sensing circuit or the miracle circuit. And so we have got an interesting creative tension set up here right away between these two different gates. So before I dive into the specifics of these gates, I'd like to just create a little context to say that the 63 and the 64 are both in collective circuitry. So collective circuitry are about big things in life, as you might imagine, right? They're like the collection of the tribes. All the different tribes is collective circuitry. So things that live there are like infrastructure, business, big business, government, roads and healthcare systems and, just kind of big things, right? And it influences us in terms of our ability to connect with these bigger things in life. Now, the logic circuit or the pattern circuit is left-brained energy, and the 63 is left-brain energy. It's actually the very beginning of that left-brain energy. Comes in through the left brain, crosses over, comes down around the right-hand side of the body and up through the central channel. And left-brain energy is focal, tends to be very focused this way. It's linear, it's rational, reasonable, analytical, strategic, all of those things that we get trained into as young people, where we're taught sign systems, like numbers and letters, and all of that is very left-brained energy. Then on the other side, the right brain energy is the gate 64, which is the beginning of the sensing circuit or the miracle circuit. And so it comes in through the right brain, crosses over, down over the left-hand side of the body, and then up through the central channel. So they actually mirror each other, right? So it's interesting that we've got both sides going on here, right? And so the right brain energy is creative, it's expansive, it's embodied, it's experiential. It is not linear, rational, or logical, at all. It's definitely more about the body. It's more about our felt sense, if you will, our ability to feel our own energy. And so these two circuits really complement each other. We need both of them. We tend to be overly developed in the left brain capacity because this is how our educational system works. And it's where scientific method, the Western scientific method, lives in that left-brained energy. And so we've been pretty heavily conditioned to make that a priority. Even if people who don't have much of it defined in their chart tend to be really kind of analytically focused. Okay, so human design shows us that we actually need both and that they're parallel, the opposite, they're mirror of each other. And so they're equally significant. I love the way that this elevates the significance of that right-brained energy. And so we want to honor that right-brained energy as much as the left-brain energy. And sometimes we have to give more attention to that right-brained energy because our culture gives so much attention to left-brained energy. Okay, so having said that, everything that's going on in the head, okay, is really about connecting with superconsciousness or the creative intelligence of the universe, because it's the place where we kind of bring in energy through what in the Indian chakra system is called the crown chakra. And so we're bringing in energy this way. And what human design shows us is we don't just have one coming in through the crown chakra. We actually have 3 different qualities of energy that are coming in. And so we've got, like I said, we've got that right brain energy, we've got that left brain energy. We also have something called the knowing circuit that comes in through this channel, central channel right here, which isn't in our understanding really of how the brain works. So I find that actually really fascinating. So let's go ahead and dive into the Earth in gate 64. So the 64 is the beginning of that sensing circuit, and it's receiving information that is more abstract. In traditional human design, it's called confusion. And in quantum human design, it's called divine transference. And so I think the confusion part has to do with it being more abstract, right? It's probably more picture oriented. It's more feeling, more embodied. It doesn't necessarily have a lot of words that go with it. And so this can be confusing if you're used to thinking of things just in words, right? And so we want to be able to honor and acknowledge this information, spiritual information that's coming in through that right brain, and to receive it as divine transference. It's like, wow, it's like God's talking to us, right? Basically, right? Or the creative intelligence is sending us guidance and helping us to understand our world in a way that is really connected to the all that is, because the right-brained energy isn't really boundaried. It's this place where we can truly come to understand ourselves as a part of a whole, that there is no separation between you and me and everyone else, and also the trees and the planet and the rivers and all of that, that we're actually all part of one universal energy, right? And that we may have certain kinds of distinctions, but not so much this sense of really being boundaried. Okay. And so when the Earth is lighting this up, it's suggesting that we open up to receiving the information that can come in here, and we can ground ourselves in that information. So it's an interesting kind of creative tension or paradox, because we may not think of that kind of abstract or more embodied think about information about being so grounding, right? But it definitely can be, because it's also a way that the body connects to the earth, right? Because what are our bodies but sacks of water filled with minerals, basically. That's what it is, and bacteria, right? I mean, that is what our bodies are. So we are made of the earth, literally, and we are also made of the star at the center of our solar system, because the earth came from the star. So if you want to go back there, we're all star beings, which is fun to think about. And so we want to ground ourselves in our understanding about who we are and the kind of intelligence that we have that has not been as well honored as the left brain intelligence has been. So this is a really good time for you to be doing creative things, for you to be writing songs or writing stories or making dances, just doing things that are opening up your ability to be receptive to these different kinds of information and downloads and insights and breakthroughs that can come through that right-brained energy. Then we have the sun that's lighting up the gate 63, which is in the left brain energy, okay? And so this left brain energy is actually resting, okay, on the earth, which is in the 64. So here we've got logic, reason, focal, boundaries, all of that is resting on the foundation of this other kind of much more expansive and abstract, unboundaried, creative, embodied, and experiential set of possibilities. So the 63 in traditional human design is doubt, and in quantum human design is curiosity. And so if you're one of those people who falls into doubt, I've done readings for many, many people who fall into doubt, whether they've got that 63 or the 4 to define in their chart or not, where you can turn that around into curiosity. Because, the very best science, the very best way of us understanding our world is not through, I don't think so, you got to prove it to me, right? It's about, wow, I'm curious about this. What's going on in the world or inside of me, and how can I understand it? So curiosity is a huge superpower for us, and a huge ally for us as we look around what's happening, in the collective, in the outer world, and in the natural world. And so we want to be able to foster that curiosity, and the curiosity will be supported and fueled by this ability to actually tap into this other form of intelligence that we have that comes through the right brain. Now, we also can use our ability to focus on certain things. And so there can be a kind of paradoxical dynamic that can be quite pleasurable and beneficial, provided that we don't allow the energy of the left brain to beat up on the energy of the right brain, which is what a lot of people fall into, right? Is like, you get feelings and hunches and creative ideas and information that comes in. And then, your left brain is going, I doubt that. Like, prove it to me, show me, like, where's your evidence? Where are the studies? Where did you learn that? And the right brain's going, I don't know. I just received it and I know it and I can feel it and I'm expressing it and I'm creating it, right? This can happen. Mm-hmm. Because the question that arises during this transit is, how do you know what you know? Right? Because the right brain thinks one thing, the left brain thinks another thing about how do we know what we know. So that's a big question that's going to be up for us. But if we can stay in curiosity and we can be like, where's possibility? Because the head's all about possibilities. It's about potentials. It's not about answering questions. It's more about asking questions. And so if you find yourself kind of trying to, answer questions, trying to fit things into boxes, trying to be more linear and analytical to make things make sense, I invite you to kind of step out of that and open up into a bigger state of curiosity and possibility and potentials, and to be curious instead. And I think if you do that, you will find that right brain energy is happy to dance with your curiosity, right? It's like, ooh, try experiencing this, try feeling this, try creating this. Can you be curious about all these other things? And if you start to feel a little stagnant in your creativity, for example, then you can use curiosity as your ally to kind of break you out of that, because sometimes we can get stagnant in our creativity because we think we're supposed to already know what we're going to create before we create it, which is not true. I would say 99.9% of the time we don't know. That's part of, because it's creative, right? So we're creating something new, and we might have a place to start, or we might have an inkling about it, but we're not necessarily, know exactly all the different things. That's way more left brain energy, right? Planning, strategizing, all of that. If we can use our curiosity to kind of break apart our potential way that we have put our creativity into a box and allow ourselves to even be a little bit outrageous, we might be able to free each other in a really beautiful, exciting way. Two other things I want to note about the transit that we're moving into is that the 4521 is still lit up. And so that is a really important channel. I talked about it in last week's transit report quite a bit, so you can go and check that out. But this is in traditional human design is known as the money line, and or it's a channel of distribution. And it is about being able to gather resources and then distribute them in a way that is best for the tribe, whether that's your family or your community or the world. Okay, but it's more tribal energy, so it's a little bit closer in than collective circuitry is. And the other is that we have Saturn and Mercury both lighting up the gate 30. Now, the gate 30 is known as clinging fire in the I Ching, and it's desire or passion in human design. And it's intense. It's really intense energy. And so when we see this, and especially being double defined in a chart, it's going to increase the intensity of whatever else is happening during this transit. So knowing that, step into curiosity, open up possibilities for yourself, play with your creativity, look at how you can gather resources and distribute resources in a way that creates really, positive impacts for everybody involved, and just be cautious or attuned to if the intensity starts to get in your way, because it can do that, especially if Saturn is lighting it up. Like Saturn can be like, okay, there's a lesson in here. What do you do with all this power? What do you do with all this passion? What do you do with this desire? And if you're in a habit of either suppressing or rejecting your desires and your passion, this could create some challenges for you during this time. So I would say, unleash yourself, let yourself out of the box, enjoy the intensity, and zero in on where you think it's going to support you the most during this transit, in relationship to your own chart, and then also in relationship to whatever is going on in your life. In fact, I would love it if you would leave some comments in the down below to let us know how this lands for you and what it is that you're learning and how this transit is intersecting with your own chart. And if you don't already have your own human design chart, or if you want to run the design charts of other people, you can go to yourfreehumandesignchart.com and run your chart there. And you will also get, as a gift from me, Getting Started with Human Design, which is a 2 ebook series. The first one really orients you to the human design chart, so you can see what all the parts are, and it also tells you where the chart came from. And then the other one is the reflection journal that will then help you to apply what you learned to your own life and to your own human design chart. So that comes to you completely free as a gift from me when you go and run your chart at yourfreehumandesignchart.com. All right. Many blessings. Much love.